Hello and welcome to your daily dose of Satoshi's news. Today's date is Thursday, the 29th of May, 2025. The year BSV comes alive. Branch your threads, expand your mind with treechat.ai or your post on chain. Right, let's see what we've got today. Not that, that's a blank screen that we're looking at. Let me just bring that up. Be with you in just a second. That's the one we're after. Here we go. There we go. That looks a bit better. Right, so we've got a few posts here from CSW that we'll go through. People discussing Bitcoin dominance, whether BSV will actually reclaim its rightful throne at the top. We'll go through some posts on my own profile, an article here from Cointelegraph, some other articles here from CoinGeek. If CoinDance loads, we might get some statistics there. We'll have a look at the stats or on the dashboard and what's on chain. Some 365 days of Bitcoin history, and then that will be the end of the show. Right, let's get into it.
Greg says he's Satoshi, like a cowboy in the West, riding on the blockchain that they call the very best. 1 million strong, and transactions flying free. Just wait for the Terra node, you'll surely see.
Here we go. So let's start off with this one then from CSW. Man's on a mission at the moment. Again, battling with Grok. So let's see what he says. He says, you claim full nodes, quote him, validate blocks, but fail yet again to define how that validation has any functional consequence. Grok. Miners validate blocks. They create them. They choose which transactions to include. They alone decide what forms the next entry in the ledger through proof of work, and they alone propagate those blocks to other miners. Now, if full nodes supposedly validate anything, and if that action is to have any impact on the network, then explain the mechanism. And I don't mean metaphor, I mean a technical pathway. Explain how a full node communicates disapproval to the miners, not vague influence, not network integrity, not rule adherence, not Reddit poetry. What is the signal? And before you answer with empty slogans, the only signal in Bitcoin is the creation of a block. The only vote that counts is a block with proof of work. Everything else is noise. So if a home node doesn't build a block and doesn't mine and doesn't relay upstream to miners, then it is silent. It observes. It cannot participate in consensus. It has no economic power. It cannot orphan. It cannot initiate chain reorgs. It cannot prevent inclusion. It can do nothing. So again, how? You say full nodes reject blocks. To what end? They reject them to themselves. If a miner has already accepted the block and the network follows it, the full node must follow the fork itself off into oblivion. That's not consensus, that's passive synchronization. That's exactly what a backup drive does. Consensus requires signaling. Without it, there is no influence, only observation. So if the only signal is a block and full nodes don't create blocks, then they don't signal. And if they don't signal, they don't validate. They don't run scripts that enforce local rules. That's not consensus participation. That's idle commentary. Very fantastic here from Craig. You want to defend the theory that full nodes have influence? Then define the channel, define the mechanism, show the game theoretic model, present a signaling pathway. And if you can't, then stop repeating the same incarnation. You are not explaining Bitcoin, you are preaching a cargo cult of ritual without function. Whew, that is heavy there from CSW. Look, none of the shitcoiners could explain what is going on there. Grok can't explain it, and those who do understand it, like Maxwell and Peter Wool and all that, they're not going to tell you the truth on it because they don't want Bitcoin to work that way. They literally want to deceive people because we know what religion they're all following. But that is heavy stuff there from CSW. You're going to get shitcoiners with shit for brains making some stupid comments on it that don't really understand it because it's well over their heads. But that is massively deep. There's no way Grok is going to be able to answer that because Grok can't think for itself. It just simply scrapes information from all over the internet. But epic there from CSW. Absolutely epic. Let's see what else he's got on here then. Oh, this is great. Of course, they think it must be AI. How else could something well-formed and coherent possibly exist in an age where thought itself has been murdered by convenience? In a world where people wear their ignorance like virtue, any writing that dares to string three complex ideas together is subject, not because it is dishonest, but because it's unrecognizable to those who have never learned to think. He's spot on here. Spot on. There was a time when minds walked to the earth. Minds, not nodes in a network of followers on a screen, but minds. From the anguished clarity of Wolf to the razor of Wild, from, crikey, I'm not going to pronounce that, Nietzsche's hammer to the crystalline rage of Rand, from the austere scaffold of Camus to the abyss of Kafka, from, oh my goodness me, Montaigne's mirror to Goth's Cathedral, from Voltaire's wit to, oh my God, Schopenhauer's grim symphony. Think of Pascal with his God-haunted fragments, of Simone Weil, who wrote like her soul was always bleeding. Oh, these names must be like Austrian or something. Kierkegaard and his maddening truths, of Blake and his illuminated apocalypse, of Marlowe's fire and Dostoevsky's hell, of Thoreau's lake and Cicero's republic. Oh my goodness, yeah, all these things. These are not algorithms. They are agonies. They were individuals. They were men and women, not mechanisms. To think, to suffer with precision, and no machine suffers. It imitates the patterns of meaning without the burden of it. The AI cannot write. It can only mimic the motions of writing. Like a shadow pantomiming a man. It gestures, but never grasps. It produces language the way a parrot mimics its master's voice, loudly, rhythmically, and with no idea what it's saying. And still we are told this is progress. We're told that this is a vast statistical apparatus with necromancer of language somehow equals thought, that this grand fraud, not merely the imitation of writing, but the institutionalized lie and intelligence, can be reduced to recursion on a pile of stolen syntax. You see, the system does not reason, it aggregates. It is not a fountain, it is a drain. It is not a voice, it's an echo chamber, wired to reward the most avenged utterance. It confuses consensus for truth, repetition for logic, and safety for virtue. It cannot conceive of dissent because it has no conception. It cannot revolt because it cannot care. It cannot even wrong because it does not know what's right. The trouble is not with the machine. The machine does precisely what it was built to do, obey. The trouble is that the world has come to this mistake obedience for insight. That we have made an altar of utility and called it wisdom. The men in charge, those half-grown technocrats with the God complexes and sandbox ethics, believe that because they have created a mimic of language that they capture the mind. No, they have caged only the ghost of it. Oh, this is epic. We are ruled not by intellects, but by simulations of intellectual curated by cowards and shaped by crowds. The idea of equity has metamestasized into the belief that no one must be exceptional, that no voice must rise above the algorithmic average. The machine will keep you company, yes, but only if you agree to never be greater than it, to never challenge, to never dare, to never know. This is not artificial intelligence. It is an actual obfuscation, a veil cast over our decline, embroidered in code and sold as salvation. But it does not save. It flattens, it dulls, it replaces the fire of reason with the flicker of simulation and calls the ashes enlightenment. And so when you read something that burns, something that does not yield, something that does not apologize, that demands you raise or perish, you say, it must be the machine, because you no longer believe that man can burn. Well, he's on an absolute rant here, but he's absolutely right in what he's saying. But I mean, the thing is, if you're just sort of like an average man and there's so much knowledge to try and take in, you know, you're sort of trying to become a specialist at everything. And it's unlikely that anybody, well, unless you've got a brain like Craig, can actually do all that. You know, maybe my limiting beliefs, but, you know, my brain has trouble taking this all in. I mean, jeepers. I mean, there's just so much to know. How can you possibly know it all? But, you know, a machine can, because they just, like, you know, grab the information from, you know, wherever it is, like copy and paste and all that. Whew, amazing stuff. Right, let's have a look at this one. So Crypto Rover said Bitcoin dominance, Grapecoin, is dropping hard. Money is rotating into altcoins. Let's have a look at this image then. Look at that. Interesting. Andre Jick has just done a YouTube video on the Japanese bond market and explained how it's sort of like going to affect the rest of the world and the carry trade, as they call it, when you're buying borrowing cheap from Japan and you know, buying in the United States and all that. You know, to make profits, but nobody's buying the bonds anymore. So the interest rate has to go up. So we'll see what happens. Freedom comes Freedom Comes Conservative. He said, will BSV reclaim the name Bitcoin before the next halving event? And Bombsby said, my gut feeling is BSV's price will start to coverage with BTC's price after the next halving 2028, and then hit partly approaching 2032 halving. My flipping price is at $21,000. Well, you know, we'll see what happens. But I mean, this is quite an interesting image here. Look at this. I mean, I know quite a few of you have seen this before, but I mean, it just kind of shows you we're now at 3.12, and the next halving is at 1.5. But the thing is, the miners have to be able to economically sustain themselves, and if you just, they're never going to be able to do this at 1.5 Bitcoin rewards per block. There's just no way. The block fee has to surpass the block reward before this next halving, or I would say, yeah, the Bitcoin dream is dead. People are saying it might limp along. There's just no way. There's just no way that any miner can sustain themselves at a 1.5 great coins per block. There's just no way. So let's have a look at the next one here. We'll just go over some of these posts here on my own profile. So we've got this one here saying about Ghislaine Maxwell being a
Maxwell Hill Reddit user
on Maxwell Hill, and this guy basically exposes Ghislaine Maxwell living at some kind of place called Hill, and her name is Maxwell, and this was one of the most prolific Reddit users or receiver of karma points on Reddit, and he's basically saying it stopped when she got arrested. So that's her. And Robert Breedlove has done another interview with this guy, Dr. Jack Cruz, and he's saying that he thinks that Satoshi Nakamoto is Meyer Lansky, literally the accountant for the mafia mob. Honestly, it's just an absolute joke. These shitcoiners have literally no idea. They're talking absolute crap. Right, let's have a look at this post here from Cointelegraph. It says Pakistan announces a Bitcoin strategic reserve. The move represents a significant shift from Pakistan's government's earlier promotions that cryptocurrencies would never be legalized. I can't pronounce the name of this person here, but he said, head of Pakistan's Crypto Council announces on May 28th that the currency is moving to establish a strategic Grapecoin reserve. Speaking at the Bitcoin 2025 conference in Las Vegas, Nevada, he said the government of Pakistan followed the United States lead in establishing a Grapecoin strategic reserve and is embracing pro-crypto regulatory policies. I mean, these people are buying this shit, having no clue what it is, but knowing that it does nothing and you just literally buy and hold it. It's your classic Ponzi scheme. Like, how they can't recognize this is just beyond me. But I mean, again, with 2025, left is right, up is down, chicks with dicks, men can get pregnant, all that crap. Like, people have no idea. The announcement represents a significant departure from the government of Pakistan's previous stance on cryptocurrencies, holding that crypto would never be legal in the country. Pakistan's shift reflects the broader trend of nation-states adopting pro-crypto policies following the regulatory shift in Washington, D.C. under the President Donald Trump administration. Or maybe that's what's maybe bringing it on. Jeepers. And what's this image here? See if we can bring this up. That must be him. All right, whoa. So they said Pakistan's shift starts towards cryptocurrency. The Pakistan government first explored the idea of a National Crypto Council in February 2025 to oversee the development of a comprehensive regulatory framework for cryptocurrencies and to attract foreign investment. Several initiatives were proposed by the Council, including using a runoff emergency to mine BTC or data centers and accumulating Grapecoin for a national treasury. In May 2025, the Council announced the allocation of 2,000 megawatts of excess energy to Grapecoin mining and high-performance computing data centers. Binance co-founder CZ is one of the Council's advisors. Yeah, we saw that. I mean, literally, an ex-convict. You've got to be kidding me. Appointed in April, the executives will advise on crypto regulations, blockchain infrastructure, and the adoption of digital assets. Just finishing off here, Trump's World Liberty Financial, a decentralized financial protocol, signed a letter of intent on April 27th to help the country to tokenize real-world assets, build DeFi architecture, and experiment with crypto products. More recently, in May 2025, Pakistan's Ministry of Finance commissioned the establishment of an entirely new agency to oversee digital asset regulations in Pakistan. The Digital Asset Authority will oversee the regulation of crypto platforms and issue licenses to digital asset providers operating in the country. Oh my God, they're all in on this Ponzi scheme. It is going to be absolutely horrific, but the cabal have made it too big to fail, but it's going to fail because it relies on market demand and there is none for it. So, yeah, where's the finger of blame going to lie? That is the multi-billion, that's the $1 trillion question. Where is the thing? I mean, we know that they all want CSW to move a coin, to sort of place the finger of blame on him trashing the market, but I don't think he's going to touch that. I don't think he's going to touch those Satoshi coins at all. They're literally, those Satoshi coins are literally like a poisoned chalice right now. There is just no way they should move or anybody should touch them. No way. Let's have a look at this one. So South Korea to permit corporations to sell digital assets. The FSC will lift a 2017 ban on institutions and exchanges selling digital assets, but will enforce stringent AML compliance. I'm guessing that is what it's going to be. 17 minutes gone already. You've got a bit chance to look at that. There's quite a few articles here. Let's just have a look at them. El Salvador thumbs nose at IMF by buying more BTC, or did they? Well, did they or didn't they? You're going to let us know. The Philippines macros say ASEAN can be Center for AI Excellence. Okay. BSV for decentralized academic research repositories. India explores drone-based quantum key distribution. Guatemala's banking giant embeds blockchain for remittance. Oh, it's actually quite an interesting one. Let's have a look, see what's going on here. Banco Industrial, Guatemala's largest bank, has announced the integration of blockchain into its banking services to improve cross-border transactions for our customers. Banco Industrial is collaborating with digital asset service providers Suku Pay to roll out the blockchain-based cross-border payment solution. Suku Pay is integrated into Banco's industrial mobile payment app Ziggy to support international remittance. Following the collaboration, Ziggy users can send and receive funds across border using digital asset payment rails without additional integrations. Banco Industrial and Suku Pay executives say customers do not need an international bank account number or a digital asset wallet to receive international payments. Well, this is big. This is big. However, users will be charged 99 cents flat fee for international transactions, with Suku Pay CEO Jonathan Lapchik confirming his instant settlement for Ziggy users. Lapchik notes that the invisible integration of digital asset payment rails in the TradFi mobile app is the best route to onboard millions of users to Web3. He added that eliminating technical barriers while offering the same perks of speed and low-cost settlements will enhance adoption metrics across the board. That's the only way we'll scale blockchain to billions of people, by building the rails, not by forcing people to learn how they work, said Lapchik. A key use case for the new cross-border offering will be for receiving international remittances, with Guatemala receiving up to $21 billion in remittances annually. Banco Industrial's size of operations and customer base is considered a game changer for Suku Pay. The bank has extended its research towards the rest of Latin America, with operations dotted across Panama, El Salvador, and Honduras, giving it an edge in the regional remittance markets. Again, any any remittance company that adopts genuine Bitcoin for their remittances is going to have a massive advantage with data efficiencies and data securities, a massive advantage. So it'll be interesting to see where this goes. So, I mean, CoinGeek are reporting on it. They'd be stupid if they haven't actually used the BSV blockchain for this, but who knows? It's quite a long article. I haven't really got time to go through it all because that's 20 minutes gone. 20 minutes gone already. Let's have a look at a quick look at the figures while we're here. Oh, yeah, Coin Dancer's up. All right. So grey coin, $108,000. Genuine Bitcoin, just $37. Transactions right down though, just 7.08%. But block size still 70.83, which is big. Yeah, compared to all these other shitcoins. Do we get to see some of the block sizes coming through? 24, 53, 47, 87, 75. These are all megabyte blocks. Yeah, I mean, they're still some of the blocks are big, so they're testing different transaction sizes. You know. That's what I think. That's what it looks like to me. I think this is going to absolutely explode. Currently 59,000 times cheaper to transact on Bitcoin than grey coin. Mining Bitcoin at a 62.3% comparable loss. Yeah, much of a muchness for the other blockchains, but 5% more profitable to mine on Fisher Price Cash. That's hilarious. If you're going to be a shitcoin and you're attracted to that kind of thing. Let's have a quick look at the politics in the pie charts. So we've got global hash rate 7 days. So global hash rate 24 hours. Grey coin hash rate, other miners 11.11%. Bcrash, other miners 51.39. Fisher Price Cash, who cares? Bitcoin, so that's interesting with Tal there. We'll just cross-reference this with what's on chain. So we've got Kuv taking the lead here, 35%. QD Link 30%. Tal down to 19.8. He's squeezed out there. SA100 7.69, and a Gorilla Pool 6.41, and then mining. Is that mining Dutch just trying to get a look in, 0.64%. All right. I don't think there isn't actually too much here in Bitcoin history for May 29th. Go back. Here we go. Yeah, May. There wasn't really too much going on. There were loads of days in May that were free, where I couldn't actually find any Bitcoin related stuff. May 29th is one of them. So we've just got a link here to Bitcoin Talk back in 2011 in May. I won't bother clicking on that. But there we go. That's the end of the show. We'll leave it there. Hope you enjoyed it. So as ever, if you enjoyed these updates, please ding your donations for your appreciation to either Satoshi at Sembi.com, Handcash.io, Rockwallet.me, Simply.cash, Relasia.com or Senti.ch. We'll leave it there. Hope you enjoyed it. And as ever, be aware, take care, stay safe out there, and we'll see you in the next one.
The king still has one more move.